So as you may have seen in a previous video, I broke my rear axle carrier on a jump. It's not supposed to do that if you don't know. But while I was beginning to fix the axle carrier, I noticed that I've also broken the rear end of my chassis off, along with the rear bulkhead. It's kind of hard to see, but the bulkhead is cracked in half as well. So I'm gonna have to rebuild the E-Revo. It's gonna be a little bit of a task, but I've already gotten the chassis and a bunch of replacement parts, RPM arms, and a couple other things I needed. So we're gonna make a project out of it. I'm going to start by dyeing the chassis black along with the rockers for the shocks, just to give it a nice look, a nice even look all the way through. And then from there it's just putting it back together on the new chassis. So the chassis has been dyed black now. Came out fairly well. So now it's a process of rebuilding the Revo. Not doing an overhaul, just a rebuild. Only replacing the parts that I've had problems with. Only upgrading the parts that I've had problems with. Which would be arms. And actually not too much more. Now it's time to put it back together. I'm about halfway through the rebuild of the Revo. As you can see, I have parts all over the place. It's a little bit of a mess, but it's coming together. The chassis turned out really nice. I dyed it black. I also dyed the rockers black, and they turned out pretty nice as well. I'd say I'm about 50% done with the rebuild. I'm also going to do a few upgrades and put some differential oil in the diffs. Just regular maintenance while I have it apart. So now I'm down to the rear end of the Revo rebuild. Here you can see where it broke off of the main chassis, and right here is where the bulkhead broke. So we're doing the replacement of the bulkhead. Also, we're doing the replacement of the axle carrier, which is also broken in the crash, and then remounting it to the chassis. Here's the old chassis that came off of the Revo that I broke the rear end off. You can see where it split off. And here's the rear bulkhead. You can also see where that split off. Something like that. Along with the other half. And here's the axle carrier, which broke, which is a recurring problem for me. I might switch over to the RPM axle carriers and see how well they work. Along with the Traxxas arms that came off, which I'll be keeping since they're perfectly fine. So yeah, those are the parts that came off of the old build. Here's the rebuilt Revo. With RPM arms, dyed black chassis, and black rocker arms. I got my Revo back and it's time to go break it again.